Patricia Kalitsky, a 16-year-old junior in high school, and Lloyd Duane Bogle, an 18-year-old airman stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base, went on a date in Great Falls on January 2, 1956. However, as the night continued and the temperature dropped, the young pair failed to come home. Their abduction sparked a curious and intriguing case that would go unresolved for more than 6 decades. Patricia and Duane's friendship had bloomed only a month before, during Patricia's cousin's wedding. Despite their brief romance, the two youngsters looked to be truly in love, spending a significant amount of time together. They were last spotted leaving Pete's Drive-In restaurant in Great Falls about 9 p.m. on the evening of their disappearance. Their intended destination was a well-known lover's path off Central Avenue near Wadsworth Park. Concerns were raised among Patricia's parents when Patricia and Duane did not come home as scheduled. Initially, they considered elopement, prompted by Patricia's older sister, who had eloped about the same age. However, as the days passed with no news from the young couple, their concern grew. Duane, who had recently been promoted to Sergeant Second Class at Malmstrom Air Force Base, was well liked in Patricia's family. Despite their chats about marriage, Patricia, a serious student with college ambitions, did not fit the conventional description of someone who would elope. Furthermore, the pair rigorously followed Patricia's curfew, adding to the mystery surrounding their unexpected absence. When witnesses came forward, they described seeing a guy resting under a tree on the same night the pair vanished, presumably inebriated. Unfortunately, no one intervened to further investigate, presuming the man was merely drunk. The mystery surrounding the occurrences grew even deeper. The next morning, 3 boys came across the disturbing scene of Duane's remains. Half of his body was crushed beneath his automobile, his wrists bound behind him with his own belt, and a deadly gunshot wound marked the catastrophe. This revelation added another layer of tragedy to the emerging mystery, leaving detectives and the community reeling from the strange circumstances surrounding Duane's death. These bleak details formed a striking picture of a crime that went beyond a mere disappearance. The posture of Duane's body suggested a purposeful act of violence, adding a dark element to an already confusing case. The community's shock and despair were obvious as they coped with the unexpected and terrible conclusion to what appeared to be an average evening for the young couple. Patricia's remains were recovered a day later on January 3, 1956, in a steep ravine about 8 miles from where Duane's body was located. She was completely dressed and standing on the brink of a 20-foot embankment just off a highway 6 miles northwest of central Montana. Due to the discovery of an expensive camera and a $5 cash in Duane's hands, initial evaluations ruled out robbery and sexual assault. Nevertheless, further finds contradicted these judgments. Patricia's autopsy found evidence of a possible sexual assault, as well as blunt force trauma wounds, indicating a fight. Despite these disturbing facts, investigators faced obstacles in their quest for the truth. A possible suspect linked to Chinese-style executions was questioned in the days following the victim's discovery. However, this lead proved ineffective, and the suspect was eliminated in 1989. Sergeant John Cadner took up the long unsolved case in 2012. In 2019, DNA evidence from Patricia's vaginal swab, which was acquired in 2001, was successfully replicated. This DNA sample was then linked to the CODIS and open-source DNA databases, indicating a match with Kenneth Gould, a former suspect who died in 2007. Kenneth Gould, a Great Falls native, married at 25 and maintained a nomadic existence, frequently uprooting his family. Surprisingly, he had no obvious link to Patricia or Duane other than living near Patricia's parents at one point. Despite the lack of a concrete link, Kenneth Gould was a suspect in the first inquiry. Gould's daughter assisted investigators by giving DNA for comparison. The findings verified a match, increasing the likelihood that Kenneth Gould was the culprit. However, because of his death in 2007 and subsequent cremation, his guilt could not be established in court. After more than 65 years, this discovery brought both closure and further grief to Patricia and Duane's families. Gould's neighbors in Missouri, where he had resided before his death, were shocked, characterizing him as a laid-back and soft-spoken man. The motivation for the crime remained a mystery, buried alongside the victims. After decades of uncertainty, the families were finally notified of the case's prospective outcome. This bittersweet moment helped them to process the complicated emotions associated with the catastrophe. While the identification of Kenneth Gould as the most probable suspect brought answers, it also served as a jarring reminder of the years that had gone by and the wounds that had never healed completely. After decades of uncertainty, in reflecting on the inquiry, Sergeant Cadner underlined the tireless efforts of detectives who poured their hearts and souls into solving the case. The families, who had been given some closure, were unable to resist the return of memories linked to two young lives sadly cut short. Patricia's sister, the last living member of her family, was confronted with the news while suffering from advanced dementia. The Bogle family, shattered by stories and rumors about Duane's fate, finally had a viable explanation, albeit one that reopened old scars. The case highlighted the rising importance of technology in solving cold cases in the larger context of criminal investigations. Once unachievable, DNA evidence has become a critical tool, allowing investigators to examine old cases and investigate previously inaccessible leads. The mystery delves deeper into the complexities of comprehending the various motivations behind the crime, noting the inherent difficulties in analyzing the conduct of those whose secrets remained hidden. Kenneth Gould's quick migration following the murders, along with his itinerant lifestyle, added layers of intrigue to an already enigmatical case. While the identification of Kenneth Gould as the most probable suspect provided some closure, it did not entirely answer the concerns about the reasons and circumstances that led to such a horrible act. The family, who had undergone years of uncertainty and mental pain, now had the difficult challenge of dealing with the tragedy's diverse emotions. The case of Patricia Kalitsky and Lloyd Duane Bogle, albeit potentially close to conclusion, served as a heartbreaking reminder of the lasting nature of unsolved mysteries and the tremendous impact they had on the lives of those left behind. The story emphasized the long-lasting wounds that such incidents leave on the hearts and souls of the afflicted families, underscoring the significance of closure in the face of unfathomable loss. As the mystery progressed, it became clear that the identification of Kenneth Gould as the likely murderer was an important milestone, but it did not fully clarify the motivations that led to Patricia and Duane's horrible deaths. After years of uncertainty, the families were now met with a complex combination of relief, loss, and the rekindling of bitter memories. The mystery highlighted technology's expanding involvement in the inquiry, emphasizing how advances in forensic procedures, notably DNA analysis, had the potential to resurrect cold cases. Cases like Patricia and Duane's carried the promise of long-awaited answers in an era when scientific techniques might revisit the past and discover critical evidence. Thus, the mystery emphasizes the significance of technology in giving closure to families and putting a light on history's darkest corners. The unresolved mystery of Patricia and Duane's fate became a focal point in investigating the intricacies of human behavior and the tremendous impact of unsolved murders on the lives of those left behind. The mystery intertwined history and the present, stressing the emotional journey of the families and the hard efforts of investigators to pursue justice. In conclusion, while the identification of Kenneth Gould as the most likely suspect was a big step forward, the motivations for the crime remained a mystery. Although the families were given some closure, they were forced to negotiate the complex web of emotions associated with the catastrophe. Patricia Kalitsky and Lloyd Duane Bogle's case provided a sad reminder of the pervasiveness of unsolved mysteries and the possibility for technology to reveal solutions, offering peace to families and revealing the darkest corners of the past. We're reminded of the unsettling impact of unsolved mysteries as we reflect on the closure of Patricia and Duane's case. What other cold cases may technology help solve? What secrets are waiting to be discovered? Join us on a voyage into the unknown, where solutions may be just beyond time and technology's reach. Well, that's it for today. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you at the next one.